I ain't going with you. I'm not going after you. What you don't know is Jacob here is like a fire chicken picker. And you're already hearing it. But I am not.
No, you should have gone.
I should have gone?
You should have gone.
What am I going to do?
Whatever you want, man. Well, welcome to...
Welcome.
What do we call this?
I don't know.
We haven't come up with a name
We
yet.
haven't come up with a name for this yet.
This is just two buddies hanging out. We have a studio. Mm-hmm. Technically, he has a studio, and I get to be here.
Technically.
And yeah, this is what we do. We're gonna just talk about gear. We've both got our favorite guitars right now. Zach's playing a Gibson 335.
2022?
Yeah.
No, it's a 20. It's a 23. It's actually a 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a lot of guitars, and I lost a lot of guitars this year for precarious reason. But anyways.
Yeah. And I built this telly when I was 14, and it looks like crap. And I've been playing it ever since, and I'm not going to stop playing it because I freaking love it.
He does love the telly. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
I like it. It's
it's weird.
Like the Nashville thing.
Yeah, it's got, these are P90s, the telly size P90, humbucker size P90. Lord only knows what this pickup is.
It's probably out of like a Squire Bullet.
It probably is.
It's the neck position.
Listen,
no, it's like the bridge position of the Squire Bullet. That sounds so good. Sounds really good.
It's a good sounding little pickup.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is, but that's that.
It's probably like it's probably my old EG Party Smith pickup. I have like an 08 PRS EG. If you remember those, they're like the original Strat. Had a set neck, it was like all mahogany.
Yeah.
It's a weird guitar, but
That's
I love it.
cool.
I have like a Frankenstein guitar.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Nice.
So this segment, we're going to review gear. We're going to do a lot of different things. Funny enough, we have a lot of relationships because of what we do in the music industry. But this first episode, we're going to talk about the gear we loved in 2023, one thing in particular for each of us. So mine is the 335, and I think Jacob's is...
Deluxe Reverb. I've always said I'm a Vox guy. I've sworn by it. I've told everybody that I play Voxes. I've had Bad Cats. I've had Matchless. I've had any kind of Vox style amp. Jackson Amp Works. I've had a ton of those. And I've always claimed to be a Vox guy. And then it wasn't till this year that I got a Deluxe Reverb. And I've been gigging with it and doing sessions with it. And I feel like my whole life's a lie.
See, I feel the same way because for me, you can hear Jacob's like a really good, like what I would consider like a really solid lead player, right? I came from more like a rhythm nature, so I played acoustic. I was a worship leader, songwriter. So electric is a thing that I've learned to love and have gotten better at over the years, and because of the way I play acoustic, it has transitioned very well, and so. I have like all this theory knowledge, and he has all this amp knowledge and all the lead knowledge. So like we've kind of blended our lives together. But since we've become friends, like 7 years ago or something like that. I've had a lot of the same stuff he's had. Like I bought his Bad Cat. Yeah. I've had a Matchless. I've had like a Blackheart Little Giant, if you remember those, like a little 5-watt stacker. I've had
Epiphone Valve Jr.
I had Epiphone Valve Jr.
Those were cool.
I've had a couple Vox AC 15s and 30. Yep. I had probably one of my favorite amps that I ever had was a Twin Reverb. Oh yeah. However, it was very muddy to me. And what I found out this year is I bought an AC 15, just like a Chinese made one, right? So it's not hand wired or anything like that. But it's like my favorite amp again. Like I thought I was a Fender guy, but just like he thought he was a lie, I'm actually a Vox guy.
Yep. It happens.
It's chimey because I'm a big dude, and the 335 it covers me. It covers me up. So like I love the chiminess like of a Strat. In fact, Jacob's building me a Strat right now. It's like a John Mayer tribute thing, and I probably won't play it a whole lot, like live, because I don't feel super comfortable with such a small guitar.
Yeah.
But the Voxes give me the chime with the 335, and
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yep. And that festival we did this summer, you played a Strat that I built, and I forgot to ground the volume
I
pot.
forgot about that. My volume was wide open the entire time.
And Zach's a guy who is constantly on his volume
Always
knob.
on it.
And I was like, oh, it's cool. I'm going to dime your AC-15. And then, because he doesn't run pedals typically. And I was like, I'm going to dime your AC-15. And then you just use your volume for your clean
And I couldn't
dirty.
use my volume at all.
And it
just
worked for like a second, and then it didn't. And
it was pretty funny though. But we teach music lessons here at Fortville Music Garage. So I've been teaching for like 22 years, something like that. And I do a lot of pick control stuff. So like I use a 2 mil Ernie Ball Prodigy. Ernie Ball doesn't sponsor this channel, but it does sponsor me as an artist and work with FMG as a company. So we love Ernie Ball here, but this Prodigy pick, 2 millimeters, and I can play as light as I want and as loud as I want. So like, luckily, even though it was dimed, like I'm not your typical just wide open strummer.
Right. And I use a V pick. This is the Dimension Junior, the 3 millimeter version. I've used the 4 millimeter version for like 10 years, and I accidentally ordered the 3 millimeter version, and I don't hate it, so I've been using it.
I've tried the V. It's the V pick, right?
Yeah.
I've tried the V picks. My hand cramps when I use them. I don't know why. We'll try it out. Like
that's a you problem.
Try this one out. I think you've played those before.
Yeah.
But like this for me, like I don't have enough like to hold on to. And it doesn't feel like I do anyways. I don't. It feels like I'm just gonna lose it. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just feel. Oh, our pig's touched. Ah!
Yikes.
Yikes. That's what she
Nope.
said.
That's
No,
what she
no.
said.
All right. Well, so like I don't know, maybe like let's start with you. So you fell in love with Fender. Like the question I have is why, and maybe you why? Like maybe you've not enjoyed your amp sounds. Jacob's been playing forever, building guitars since he was 14. He's 27 now, or 28.
28 tomorrow.
That's right. It's his birthday tomorrow.
28 tomorrow.
28. One of his students yesterday said I look 52. So
I'm 37. I'm not old.
if you think I look 52, go ahead and drop in the comments 52. I also had somebody say something very nice, not nice, in a video on Instagram one time. I can't repeat it on this, but
Go look up Zachary Dean's "Son of the South" music video and
you'll
read the comments.
Read the comments.
You'll have
Terrible.
fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. So maybe you're out there and you're like Jacob and like you've had a lot of different amps and you never fell in love with anything, or maybe you're like me and you've had a lot of things, but like you can kind of simultaneously go digital and it's fine, or you're not really super picky.
Yep.
I'm picky with tone, but I believe you can get a good tone out of anything.
Yep.
That's usable. Now maybe Joe Banana Man, Bonamassa. Maybe he's not going to record right with it because he has a specific sound and like even like the smallest nuance. Like my ears, like if I spend time doing that, sure. But for me personally, I'm a teacher, so like if it sounds good, it is good. That's what it is. And if somebody has a problem, like in the studio, like Jacob here, he'll tweak it out until he's happy with the sound. So.
Yeah, and you typically play Helix.
Yep. And
I typically play a Walrus ACS1 for gigs. I've been really weird about this because I'm the kind of guy that'll bring 2 AC30s in a road case and to a small gig with 50 people because I like the way it sounds.
And I'm the type of guy that shows up with a HX Stomp XL and a backpack with the power cable around it, with all my cables inside.
It's true. He did that.
I just throw it out and I'm good.
He did that at a festival last month, and I was like, "What's going on?"
And then it sounded great.
And it did. It sounded great. But I love having a big 2 amp behind me. In fact, while I teach, I play through a deluxe reverb, and I keep it on like 4, which for those of you with a deluxe reverb, that's loud. And I love it.
And I don't hear it because I'm on the other side of this wall, which is another like session room,
And it's like 4 foot of concrete and,
Yeah, and it's-
sound deadening in between.
yeah, it's
So
good
it's
stuff.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And behind the camera, there's the PDP concept kit with the 26-inch kick, and
It's massive.
It's
It's
the-
obnoxious.
yeah, So I mean, we like to be loud around here, but I will say the first time I plugged in the Walrus ACS one, I was like, okay, I can make this work because I just had my existing pedal board, and I just put it right on the end, and it was
did.
fine.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hate it because I want to hate all digital things, but
every time he ever played in with me though, like, and we've played side by side, you're like, man, why does your tone sound so good?
I know.
And that's what's hilarious is like I always think about him, but like it's a consistent thing, and I don't really have anything to attribute it to. Like maybe worship tutorials. I've downloaded like their like Laurel Canyon matchless,
Right.
matchless, and I got like maybe a couple others from them. But you know, the patch I'm running right now, my Helix is. With the new firmware update 3.73 or 17, whatever it is, it came with a dumble, which Jacob was pointing out yesterday. Like every dumble is a little different, so like you can't really say it's
dumbles.
a dumble.
Dumbles were
Whatever
hand-built
dumble
to-
that was modeled
Yeah.
for the new firmware update is super solid. I mean, it's really good. It's a lot like my AC15, which is weird. Which was a weird thing to say out loud.
yeah, it's just a little more direct.
Yeah.
Same with like the PRS, like the JMod 100. The amp's very direct. John Mayer said when he was releasing it that I was like, well, if you play poorly, you'll play even worse on this amp. But if you are a great player, it'll make your playing even better because it's so direct and it's so immediate. It's not like a deluxe reverb covers a multitude of sins.
Well, it's got so
'Cause
much like it's
the
it's
sag.
like the sag.
Yeah, sag and a little bit of reverb covers a lot. Joe Bonamassa calls reverb mistake eraser.
I've never heard you say that.
Because if you're
really
playing
funny.
fast enough and a little bit of reverb will cover your mistake.
That's hilarious. Well, see, now it's interesting that quote from John Mayer because I feel like the Silver Sky is also that. Like,
Yeah,
it's very the what's the hot button term? Like, is it studio? A studio. It feels like a studio knob, a studio treble, a studio mid, like a studio volume pot.
Right.
Like, I don't think that's true for that guitar. I think if you open it up, it's probably what it always is.
Probably.
Which, if you know, you know. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I found when I played the Silver Sky that was very ice picky, and it really called out a lot of just like yee.
Yeah,
to
and
me.
I think if you play it through an amp like a Vox or a Matchless or something, you're going to get that because they're already trebly amps. But I wonder if we plugged it into a Deluxe or
If it'd be better.
a Marshall or something.
Well, maybe we have an instructor here. His name is Mark, and he traded a PRS
gosh.
Vela for a DGT SE. And like we all thought it was going to be great because like the DGT. But let it be known that this is the first YouTube channel that's going to say that guitar sucks.
I'd like to mention I haven't played it yet.
I will tell you, it sucks.
I haven't played it yet.
No, let me give some preface. Listen, it sounds good. The tones
Yeah.
are good. And it looks beautiful. It's very well crafted. And FMG used to be a Paul Reed Smith dealer. So like I love PRS guitars. Actually, I have the bird tattoos, and you can just like whatever with that. But that's true.
And the PRS he owns has moons, by the way.
I have two. I have one that has the birds.
Yeah.
I do one. It does have moons though.
Yeah.
But the DGT is like, it just the neck feels terrible. I don't understand.
funny.
It. It's just the worst
funny.
neck ever. But yeah, I don't know how we got there. Somebody jog my memory.
Oh yeah, just talking about amps and the getting from the modeling to.
Oh yeah.
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 So.
Ice pickiness.
We're planning a concert series this summer that is going to be kind of an outdoor thing, and I'm thinking we'll probably backline it with. We might get another deluxe reverb and another AC15, and have stereo, deluxe, and AC15 on each side.
Now my question is, so like. You already said like some of the things you like about the deluxe. Like it's got the sag. It's got a little more forgiveness, I guess maybe that is, and especially for a chicken picker. That's probably preferable. And like you can be ice picky when you're going like through those scale. Like, can you play some
Like
of
that.
your triplets? It like doesn't. It's not so percussive, right? Like as like instantaneous. But I wonder, like this deluxe reverb we have in the room here is very. It's one of the American hand wired ones. So it's. I don't know if
and
this is
got a different speaker.
I don't know if it's a good representation. I don't know if you fell in love with the deluxe reverb, or you fell in love with that deluxe reverb.
I don't know. I don't know. But I've also had several original blackface Fenders. I've had a Bandmaster. I've had a Bassman. I had a 66 Vibrolux, which that truly might be my favorite amp. The 10-inch speakers to me are they help portray that the bridge pickup on the Telecaster a little better.
Well, it's got warmth and punch. The 10-inch speaker, and I was watching one of the Andertons. Me and Jake were talking about this earlier this week, where they were doing like quad cortex versus like I think it was the Bad Cat Jet Black with a cab and like a combo. And to me, just the combo Bad Cat sounded so good. And like I didn't realize I had a preference. I actually like like a 112 or a 110 versus having a head.
Jackson Amp Works, when they were a company, I think they made the most beautiful looking amps, and they were so aesthetically pleasing on stage, and they sounded amazing. But I had a Scarlet 30 half stack, so like the head and the 112 cab that I used a lot. But when I switched to the combo version of that, and keep in mind I didn't actually change amps, I literally bought an empty combo and just took, because the chassis on Jackson Amp Works are interchangeable between combos and heads. And so I just took it and literally screwed it into the combo and turned it on. And same speaker, both were Celestian Gold, and it did the thing that I wanted it to do. And it sounded better, which it was already a good sounding amp, and I never looked back. Every Jackson I owned after that was a combo.
It was a combo.
Uh-huh.
I've not had tons of experience with like a head and a cabinet, and I don't know if that's contributed to my dislike. There's a woofiness and a fullness, and there's a loss of, it's like a scooped mid range or something that's in a cabinet, and I don't know if that's like maybe it's the 212 or 412. I don't know. Even like on cab simulators, I don't like particularly like on my Helix setup. It's a combo. I never. Yeah. It's a two mic. I'll have two mics going on it if I can. If I have the DSP to do it, but which I haven't tried that on the Stomp. I don't know if I can run two microphones simulations on the combo. I haven't tried it.
I don't know. I know nothing about the Stomp or the Helix or.
Yeah. Maybe I try it. Maybe if you know, drop it in the comments. I don't know. I haven't tried it.
I had a comment about that.
What?
And then I forgot it.
And because he's a new dad, he doesn't have a brain anymore. And I've got 4 kids, so I never have a brain.
What I was going to say is I've learned, because I've owned, in the last 10 years, I've probably owned 200 different amps. And thinking about that, and it was pretty much a 50-50 mix of half stacks and combos. Mm-hmm. And with a half stack, I was always looking for the smallest cab that I could get away with. So like I had this Risen amp head that I loved running with this little itty bitty 210 cab that was like a undersized, like they were really crammed in there, and it sounded amazing. 10-inch Celestian Golds. And then with when I was running the head, another Risen head I used this 110 cab with a Celestian Gold, and it sounded great. But then with combos, I'm always looking for a bigger combo. I always want it to be
like a 12.
Well, not necessarily the speaker size, but the actual physical box size.
Oh.
So like I have a Fender Pro Junior at home that I use a lot. The Pro Junior is great until it's not. Like you turn it up past 2, and it just sounds so woofy and boxy. But then you put Mojo Tone makes a big cabinet that you can screw it into, You put it in that, and it sounds amazing.
That's interesting.
And it's not the amp's fault.
Yeah,
It's just the box is a
box
little
is
too
small.
small.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I saw somebody online just a couple days ago, and they said this is my favorite amp ever. I think that's like a really like big statement, and that's something like we actually say these things all the time. But like if you really got down to it, most of the things we say this is our favorite thing ever. That's not actually true. But I wonder if that's the same for this guy. But he's like my favorite amp ever, bar none. PRS Sunzera.
Oh, jeez.
20.
Okay.
Man, this is like a PRS Bash Fest today. Why is that?
No, we
Is
love.
that my fault?
We
I'm
love.
sorry.
We love
PRS.
PRS.
I'm sorry.
The Sunzera 20 is an amazing amp, but it's also a $300 amp. Let's shoot a little higher.
Well, I mean, is it now?
There is one on Facebook Marketplace, literally a mile from here. I almost sent it to you last night.
I would have bought it.
for-
I like the amp.
For like 320
That's
bucks
a good
or
amp.
something. It's a great amp.
It's a good amp.
I tend to like single channel amps.
Yeah, just one
in
master.
the
one master
less
volume.
the less knobs, the better. My two favorite amps, little amps, 5 watt and under amps that I've owned, were the Epiphone Valve Junior, which is just a volume knob,
And that is one of the best amps.
and it
man.
sounds so
Dude,
good.
those that like red leather and cream leather on them
Yeah.
too. Oh my gosh.
Well,
just,
Here's a little tip for you. You can take the back panel, which is just black, and flip it to the front panel, and then you can have a black Epiphone Valve Junior. That's what I did.
I didn't know that.
Yep. And then I never put a panel back on the back of it.
So cool.
And it looked great.
I'll
Put a picture in the video.
I've got an affinity for all things Epiphone. I just do.
And then the other one was this Risen Bedrock, which was an amp that they made. Risen doesn't even exist anymore. I think it's Creation Music Company bought Risen, so the Creation Pedal Board Company bought Risen amps. Risen used to make some really, really cool amps, but they had this one called the Bedrock, and it was volume treble bass, and it was a 1/4 of 1 watt. It was an EL84 and a 12AX7, a 1/4 of 1 watt. And I gigged that amp. I know people are like, you can't gig a small amp. Yeah, you can.
If you're miking, it doesn't matter.
Everything's mic'd anyways.
Everything's mic'd.
So
that's one of the things that drives me nuts about YouTube. Like all you guys talking about, like, and I say all you guys like a loose term, but like there's so many channels.
Yeah.
Where, like it's not a gigging volume. Like I don't know anybody that doesn't run in-ears. Like
that's true.
I don't know anybody that doesn't run in-ears.
I'll say
I
this.
don't even know what we're talking about.
I'll say this. In our bands, I probably play 100 gigs a year or so, give or take. Every band, whether it's a coffee shop, a bar, a backyard party, like a 4th of July party, or private event or whatever, we bring in-ears. We all run in-ears.
Yeah.
Even if, in fact, I think of this festival I played last year in Ohio. There was a big stage. It was probably the biggest stage I played last year. And I ran a deluxe reverb and an AC30 in stereo, both just nearly dimed. And our other guitar player ran a Friedman. I don't know I don't know anything about Friedman's, but it was a 100 watt, basically 100 watt Marshall style amp, and
100 watts of distortion
and a red plate.
Ooh.
Which is like that thing Sean Tubbs been playing. And he had those dimed. And then our bass player had a 410 and a 115 cab on stage. And like, I mean, we were just loud, but we were all using in-ears. And so like, yeah, it was loud on stage, but my in-ear mix was so good that night. And we played 4.5 hours. I mean, it was a long gig, but like, it felt good to push some air behind me, and I could feel it at my back every time I hit a.
Yeah.
You could.
Well, in the same breath though, like I've played like in churches on worship events and stuff where the amps are in the back room.
Mm-hmm.
And clear sonic isolation booths.
Yep.
And it's all just so the whole idea of like feeling the air behind your back, I can count on my one hand how many times I felt that on a stage somewhere.
Oh yeah, no,
because of volume. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's like we had out of all the gigs I played last year, 2, right? You and me at Cammy's Cause, and then that gig I was talking about in Ohio. Like, all the rest of the gigs, ACS1 plugged in direct.
Yeah.
I think. Pretty sure.
Probably pretty close.
Pretty close to all the rest. And then, like, at church, ACS1 direct.
Well, because at the end of the day, the sound man wants control, and boards have gotten so much better.
Yeah, so
microphones have gotten, well, if you're using SEs.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, everything's just a little more attuned, right? I think that's the word, attuned and together. Yeah. So, any other words on the deluxe? Like why it's your favorite this year? Like what piece of gear?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just good amp.
We went like down an amp trail.
Yeah, we did. We did. We derailed a little bit.
So for me, the Gibson 335. This is just I think it's a. I don't know what it is.
It's just a
I think it's
standard.
just a standard. Yeah, Gibson 335. There was 2 on the wall at St. Ash in Castleton, who we do a lot of work with, and I picked this up, and it's special. There's something special about it. I really like it. I had like 9 PRSs. And a slew of Gibson acoustics and Epiphone acoustics and all kinds of stuff before we had a fire this past year. Well, we didn't. A business next door to us did. And my guitar collection just kind of went.
Yep.
And I spent the year getting guitars, which afforded us some really cool relationships down with Gibson. Went down to Gibson Garage. And got some neat stuff going there. It's kind of cool. I got to hang out with J.C. Curley when he was the CEO, and I get to pick out some guitars there. But this wasn't one of those. I fell in love with this guitar, and then I also bought a White Falcon, and then I bought another PRS and another PRS, and then I didn't like those, and I took this back. And I just kind of keep hanging on to this because it just kind of does the thing I want it to do.
I forgot about those PRSs you took back.
Yeah, I had a McCarty 594,
Yeah.
and I had a Hollow Body 2 SE, which was really good. And then I also had...
You had a white S2 of some sort.
Oh, I had a Vela. I
yeah,
also had a Vela.
that was a good guitar.
It was a good guitar.
Yeah.
But like, so right now I've got as far as like electrics go, I've got the 335. I have a Zach Myers Trampus Green from like 2011 or something. And I have an EG that's just Frankenstein. It's just Frankenstein.
We've refinished it and put weird pickups in it.
Yeah, it's a weird guitar. And then I've got several guitars from Mr. Huff here. We're gonna showcase those on the channel as they come in when they're done getting built. But my electric guitar journey has been mostly PRS. Last year, I owned like 4 Les Pauls. I sold every single one of them. I actually owned a Les Paul this year. I owned it for a day, and I sold it.
I remember the black Les Paul.
Yeah, through a picture. You never even got to play it.
I never saw it in person.
I did not like it. I owned a Gibson SG this year.
Yeah, you had a Firebird?
I had a Firebird Studio this year. It was too big, and it had 13s on it, and I never changed them. It sounded good, though.
It was like...
If you want to hear that guitar, listen to Son of the South by Zachary Dean. That's on there.
It was set up the way Josh Smith sets up his guitars.
I just had a bunch of guitars this year, and I almost sold this one too, but like in my gut, I just kind of decided to keep it, and I'm glad I did because it's turned out. I think what I'm gonna do this year. Don't quote me, but I think this because I love this guitar so much. I think I'm just going to start moving towards pretty much exclusively using the 335 body style or platform. And it really doesn't really matter what the brand is, and just kind of make it my own.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm looking at the Epiphone Joe Bonamassa 62 because I was looking at Duesenberg, but they're too small, and I'm a big dude. I tell you, my favorite part about this isn't even the tones. Like, 'cause the tones are great. Like, it's really woody. Sometimes I don't like how woody it is. But the neck and the way it feels, it's a good guitar. It's a good guitar.
Yeah, it is.
And it feels good. It doesn't have any neck dive or anything like that. It just sits where it's supposed to all the time. This is the one I teach from most of the time. And I don't know. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, you just dropped your pick.
Yeah, that's all right.
So Deluxe reverb. That's really it's it's not just your standard run of the mill reverb.
Yeah.
American made, hand wound. Got different speaker in it. And this is
I don't even remember what the speaker is.
I don't remember. I think it's a creamback.
No, it's orange.
Oh, it is orange, isn't it? That's right. What is that thing?
I don't know.
We'll tell you.
It's
next
a
time.
bright orange warehouse American guitar warehouse guitars.
Warehouse guitar of warehouse.
Warehouse guitar speaker. Oh no, it's a veteran 30.
I don't know.
It's a veteran 30. I remember.
So a couple things to note on this channel, on this channel, but on this specific segment, on the gear segments. We're working with Sam Ash,
Yep.
Castleton, working on gear reviews. So like, let us know kind of what you'd want to see from the standpoint of we have country player right here, worship players here, songwriters here, and we're gonna have some other artists come in the space, other guitar players come and talk about what they use when they're out gigging and stuff. Our community around FMG is based on real life musicians like making a living doing music in a few different platforms, whether that's teaching, gigging out, like doing the actual full artistry thing, touring, or trying to make YouTube content, only YouTube content as an artist. So like, there's a lot of different avenues that we have to work with. We also have a relationship with all kinds of different companies. So you're going to see a lot of Gibson products just because we're lucky enough to have formed a bit of a relationship there. So that's pretty exciting. You're going to see a lot of some boutique builders, like some pedal builders, maybe some amp builders. We just got a lot of cool connections. And if you're into for that type of content, hit like, hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified when we post stuff. Jacob here is full-time salary position here as a teacher at FMG. He's the head instructor, as well as he's the head of all the content. So this is our first at-bat, first week at-bat at doing 2 videos a week plus a podcast. So here we go. We're rolling into 2024, doing some cool stuff. So follow along for the ride. It'll be good.
Cool. Let's play.
Just playing. I think I'm out of tune.
There it is.
There you go.